This video has no script or no structure. I'm just going to just speak off the top of my head. Let's start with like the thing that's bothering me. I'll start with the uncomfortable part. So you make something you care about, right? You spend hours editing it, you upload it, then you look at the number. Now this doesn't really apply for my Let's Plays, or at least there's a couple Let's Plays that I edited. Especially the videos that I do spend time planning and editing, and they only get maybe like, I don't know, 50 views. And your brain immediately turns that number into, at least my brain, says, was this worth my time? Does anybody care? Am I wasting my life doing this? Should I make something else? And I've been struggling with that because I have about 4 channels, which is probably already a mistake. I have a car channel. I recently started a new gaming channel that I literally was starting. I have like 4 videos on there. I started posting things and then I was using it as an experiment for other just comedy stuff. Where am I going with this? I don't know. There's a weird contradiction of being a small creator. YouTube gives you incredibly precise feedback about your content, but almost none of it tells you whether your work mattered. 10 views tell you 10 people clicked. It does not tell you someone laughed at your video, someone watched while having a bad day, someone felt less alone, someone discovered a game they now love, someone watched your video while eating dinner and had a better evening. This is where I started my Dune channel. If you look at one of my early videos of my Let's Play series, I did it so I can talk on camera, on mic, in video, basically talking to myself so I can actually speak my mind. But I'm pretty reserved. I don't talk a lot, and maybe it's because I have so many thoughts I can't even organize them to get them out at the correct time. And I also mumble. I don't know, I'm getting off topic. I started that channel to help me speak better, essentially, to myself, or just out loud. And I figured that'd be good practice. But another reason for that is because I quit my job and I needed to make income. And this job, which was as a software engineer, I was probably the lowest paid software engineer in the whole United States. I was working for a huge firm, and then I was getting jealous of the people around me and how much they were making. I started making, as a software engineer, $59,000 a year, which for me was insane. I've never made that much money. $59,000 a year changed my life. I could actually buy a chair for my desk and not feel guilty about it. I bought a TV, which I always wanted to have a nice TV. I never did. I'd always be working off like some 15-inch that my grandma gave me when I was in high school, which I was grateful for. But it felt like I could finally live. I was so stressed about spending any kind of money on anything. So I got me out of the survival stage. So I was excited and I worked really hard to get there. I pushed probably the hardest I've ever worked in my life. I failed out of college the first time I went. I went for mechanical engineering and I just was not ready. I had no study skills, nothing. So that first chemistry and physics class just kicked my ass. I had no chance. No chance. So I failed out of college and then I started working at McDonald's. And honestly, that felt where I should have been. It was like, okay, I'm starting. McDonald's felt like the bottom. And I was like, all right, let's just start from the bottom. I need to make money. Rent was so much cheaper back then. And at McDonald's, as a fry cook, I could actually afford my rent, which is nuts. So I don't think you could do that anymore. And this wasn't that long ago, by the way. This is like 2011. And then it went on a course of me just doing all kinds of jobs. I worked as a construction worker. I worked as a random plumber for like a few jobs. I worked as a DirecTV customer service agent. And then I had like a really big break. And then I worked for like a really cool startup company, which taught me how to be better around people. But that was not very long. It was only a 2-year contract. I worked in a gym for a little while, helping people with their workouts and just keeping it clean. Anyways, so I made 59,000 as a software engineer, and it was awesome. Trust me, there's a point to this. Hopefully I get there without my ADHD getting in the way. And then when I started working in the field, I knew I was coming in low, but the company I worked for like convinced me that they were going to take care of me, and they had a really good culture, which wasn't completely untrue, but I think they oversold themselves a bit. I knew software engineers should have been coming in at 90K. And after kicking my ass to get my computer science degree, like going back to school and like relearning all math, like I knew no math. I basically came in as a kindergartner. I like started from the beginning learning how to count. Like I'm not even kidding. It was literally like, how many boxes are in front of me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I started there and then worked my way all the way up to the calculus 3 and discrete math and linear algebra. And I kicked butt. I studied so hard and I actually enjoyed it and learned that stuff. I wasn't a very good software engineer. I didn't realize this until my like final semester of computer science. I would constantly, no matter how hard I worked, would just land in the bottom percentile of exams and homeworks. Every time they would show grades, they would show like a spread of where the class was. There was always like a big spread, like a bell curve, and I was always on the tiniest end. So if most people got 70% on their exams, I've got a 10% on my exam, which means I failed and I had to take the class again, which would cost more money because college is outrageously expensive. So I retook a lot of classes. Anyways, I was proud of myself. I got the job finally. I was making 59,000 a year, and I got a job with a good company, and I didn't even want to risk trying to find another job because I wasn't that good of a programmer. And for you software engineers, you know how that is because the interview process was ridiculous and so competitive. I think I had like 4 different interviews about like my personality, my technical abilities, all kinds. It's so hard, the interview process for a developer. So even though I knew the offer was a low amount, like I said, I thought the culture was good and maybe I'd get raises faster, and it all worked out in the end. I just did not want to go through another interview process. And I had student loans to pay and credit cards. I was maxed. If I didn't get this job, I don't know what happened. I persevered. Even though I'm a slow learner, I persevered. And I did the interviews and I got the job. Holy cow, life changed. And then I started working, and then I started talking to my coworkers about their salaries, and some of them were making 30,000 to triple what I was making with the exact same experience or less. And at first I was just happy for them because that's awesome. I was stoked. And some of them definitely deserved it. But this is the problem. I was comparing myself to them. If I just never figured out how much they earned, maybe I would have been happier. Contradiction to that, I was like, why wasn't I getting paid more? To this day, I still don't know what the hell was happening because I had amazing performance reviews, my code wasn't perfect, but it never showed up in my review time. So I don't know why I didn't get like bigger raises. I got an annual raise, which is always like 1%. So I worked there for about 4 or 5 years. But at that point, like the job expectation of me being a better programmer, now being in there for 4 years, the expectations were like rising. I was still not good. And I would dedicate extra time outside of work. So I was studying my code. It was basically I was working all day. I'd go to work, fail my managers, not completely, but disappoint them in code and then rewrite code, and then just the cycle continued. And then I would study after work to get better because I don't want to let my team down. That was like my biggest thing. I didn't want to let my team down. But man, I would put in so much extra time just to be barely underperforming on my team. Anyways, the stress in that final year was literally making me sick. For you guys who have stress and know this feeling, there was a knot in my stomach, which is probably an ulcer or something, that just grew every single day because there was so much pain. I just wanted it to end, and I felt stuck because I didn't know. I worked so hard to get there. The money was good, which funny enough, it was not enough money to buy a house. So I was unfortunate in that. If I got that job like 2 years earlier, I would have actually been able to buy a house. Can't buy a house with that salary, which that is discouraging. And maybe if this video goes well, I'll make another video about that. Anyways, the thing was eating me up so much, the stress. I ended up quitting, but there's also some family emergency stuff that all stacked on each other, and I decided to leave to help take care of some family. But mostly it was just for my own mental health. And my coworkers are awesome, by the way. There wasn't anything. My coworkers are like one of the best coworkers ever. It was literally me letting my own team down. So I guess you could argue I got my own way. But man, I could not manage figuring out how to be better and stop disappointing my team. And I know there's going to be a lot of, oh, you just suffered imposter syndrome. That may have been a case somewhere in there, but I did have managers say, like, you got to step this up. Please don't put me in this position. I don't want to give you a bad review. And then I would step up barely enough. And it wouldn't show up on my review, but maybe there was a hidden review and that's why I never got raises. Anyways, I'm comparing I think the whole point, I feel like I just ranted for like 6 minutes. I was comparing my salary to others and that made me sad. And I find myself making the same mistake on YouTube. I stumble across creators that have been doing it for less time and sometimes even worse quality content, and they're doing amazing, subscriber and view wise. And I'm happy for them. I'm excited for them. I guess I just want to figure out why not me? How do I get there? And then conversely, I find channels that are doing way worse than me that have been going at it for 10 years. And then I'm like, okay, I need to be grateful for what I have at this point. And then it's just this continuous cycle and I get into these stupid moods. This is like my sixth attempt at trying another entrepreneurship thing. I've been trying a lot of other entrepreneur things before this. I started a rental car business that failed. I started doing eBay, which failed. And then I did a cleaning business, which failed. An auto mechanic business, not making any money anymore. I tried to teach guitar lessons. I even auditioned for some voice acting because I was like, man, let's give that a shot. I have no idea. Tried a couple other things out that just didn't work. Or I didn't have enough capital to keep going because you need capital. So I decided to start YouTube, and all the YouTube gurus would say you need to niche down. That's the way for you to grow. And then I really like Dune. The new Denis Villeneuve Dune movies inspired me so much. I was like, this is awesome. Inspired me to read the books. And then Frank Herbert is now inspiring me, the author of Dune. And then Dune Awakening was coming out at around the same time. So I was like, this is my moment. I can talk about Dune Awakening. Maybe I can make VaatiVidya lore videos. Maybe I'll be the lore guy, which I still could be. I don't know. I might even delete this video because it's so vulnerable. And there's you subscribers that are watching this. I feel like I need to apologize to you, but maybe this is a nice opening of who I am to you. You can understand more. And my point was, I'm trying to make money on YouTube, and that's where I had this friction a little bit with this really inspiring video by Kelster Now, One View is Enough, because he's talking about impact. I feel like when you do make enough impact, I feel like success should follow. It's hard because I 100% agree with that video. Realistically, I just want enough money to survive off of. I never understand when people make so much money and they could literally be done making money and then they continue going on. I don't know if that's greed or lifestyle inflation. I don't know. Or maybe they have a number in their head they're trying to reach so they can retire. Who knows? Maybe I'll figure out one day. Maybe I'll get successful enough to know what that's like. Where you have enough money and you can decide whatever you want to do the moment you wake up. So that's why I started making YouTube videos. I want to make an impact on someone's day and make a living doing that, which would be fantastic. And I'm still trying to figure out who I am to the world. I mean, most people are trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out why people like my YouTube videos. And because even though my audience is small, my 420 subscribers is still insane to me. I do not understand how I even have that much. My best guess is you like my authenticity that whatever I'm putting across on the microphone, and maybe I feel like a companion to you, like a friend you want to play with, which is awesome. That's where I'm at. I could be totally wrong. That's my guess right now. So right now I'm trying to figure out what to do next in my YouTube channel. But with all this, my channel is growing very slowly. And I've been obsessing. There's been like hundreds of hours about like how to make titles, how to make good thumbnails, the CTR, which stands for click-through rate, keeping retention. So like adjusting the beginning to make sure people are engaged enough, and then all the algorithms, and then niches, and then upload schedules. What does YouTube want? What are other creators doing? And none of these things are inherently bad. I think the problem starts when they become louder than your reason for creating. Like I think I have about like 10 video scripts written, and then like a third of those are half filmed, and then I don't know. And then I abandon them because I think, oh, this isn't going to be a good video. I need to abandon it right now. So I love that video. 1 view is enough. And I'll put the link in the description. The reason why I love that guy's video, if 100,000 people didn't watch my video, I asked myself the question, does the video become worthless? And I'm thinking no. If one person watches this video, I guess 1 view is enough. Hopefully you liked it. If one person gets something from this, the video did something. That's what I'm trying to say. And I've had a few comments. I've probably had like 20 comments of people who liked my content, and that was so heartwarming. Some of my videos have like 5,000 views, and 5,000 people is insane. I can't believe so many people watched it. So with YouTubers who have like 10 million views per video, like what the heck? That's insanity. And one of those 5,000 view videos is a Let's Play, which surprised the hell out of me because me just being myself resonated with people. And ever since I got that video, I thought YouTube was trying to give me a clue, like people like this, continue doing it. So then I continued doing it for almost a year later, basically, and never got that amount of views that I got on that 5,000 view Let's Play. That was like episode 12 too, which is crazy. I don't know why YouTube pushed that out. I'm experimenting on this channel. I don't know if this will stay on here. I'm trying things that might fail, which is I guess the story of my life. I need to remember there's a human being on the other side of the screen. That's what I have to remember. Obviously, I still want thousands of people to watch my videos. I still want to be... It'd be awesome if this became my career. That way me and my love could like buy a house. Something just as simple as that. Or we just not have to worry about money. Like I've been debating whether or not I have like $300 right now that I can put somewhere to something fun or cool. And I keep thinking if I should like buy a new part for my computer, I play a lot of music. So I'm like, should I buy another guitar or another instrument? Should I buy a drone to make some cool footage, like landscape footage? Should I buy a new lens? Should I buy an iPad? A used one. I can't even imagine a new one, which I'm looking at a $300 iPad Pro on eBay right now, a 3rd generation. And I'm like, wow, this would be really nice as like a tablet. What I'm trying to say is like $300 feels like it's so rare to have this amount. I put so much time and stress on where I should put this $300, which is ridiculous because $300 isn't that much money. And also, I'm always looking at used shit. I would love to buy new things, but new things are more expensive than used shit. So if I want to enjoy something, so it'd be nice to actually get the views where I can just spend $300 and not have to like worry that much. Obviously, I don't know. All that stuff is like extra, but I'm in survival mode right now. That's why $300 feels so heavy. $300 is so heavy when you're just barely making it. So I still want this to become my career, but I don't want to become so obsessed with the number that I forgot what the number represents. Every view is a person. And I think that's the problem when I can't believe I still haven't wrapped this video up. Maybe I'll delete this video. So every view is a person. And if even one of those people gets something from what I made, I did something. Even if it's somebody researching my channel and be like, wow, this video got no views. He at least learned, maybe I shouldn't make a video like this because that's a bad video. And I'm helping humanity by showing what a bad example is. And of course, the last couple of years with the whole inflow of AI is a whole other topic. Maybe I'll talk about one day. Frank Herbert's like visionary of like where AI went in the Dune universe is awesome. Like, thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind is a commandment in the Bible, in the book that's called the Orange Catholic Bible. And humanity created that commandment to redefine humanity's moral boundaries and prevent the rise of thinking machines because they just barely survived a catastrophic war against sentient computers. So crazy. So cool. Anyways, I need to just wrap this up. This is way too long of a rant. So I'll just stay with this. Like, views matter to me. I want this to succeed. But I've started wondering whether I'm letting the number decide whether my work has value. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you to my subscribers and viewers, whoever you are watching this. You're awesome. And I probably failed on this, but maybe you can understand this like word cloud that I threw at you. What am I don't see. This is one of the reasons why I started the channel. I want to be able to articulate my thoughts better. I hope you got something out of this. Love you guys. Have a good one.